Well, let's go straight to our Australia correspondent Emma Cropper now. And Emma, was this expected?
Yes, Yannick, everyone has nervously been waiting for this announcement all day, and it'll happen in less than 2 hours. The border between where I am here in Sydney and where you are in New Zealand will shut for 72 hours. And this is to give New Zealand health officials a chance to assess the growing outbreak here in Sydney. At the moment, they are saying there are simply too many unknowns. One of them is how a little schoolboy caught the virus without any connection to any cases. And the other is because it is that very contagious Delta variant from India, which the transmission has been described as scary, people catching it by simply walking into the airspace of another person. Now, the feeling out on the streets tonight in Sydney, it is very quiet out there. A lot of people are nervous, but it is very normal. There are no restrictions on gatherings. There are no restrictions on social distancing. You could go out clubbing tonight if you wanted to. So that is why there are growing calls for Sydney to be placed into a 3-day lockdown. But state officials says this goes against what their response are. They're relying on contact tracing, they're relying on testing, and they're relying on wearing masks. And they said this will work, but until it does, that border will be shut and it won't be reviewed until Thursday.
Thanks, Emma. Well, thousands of travellers have crossed the ditch since Sydney's outbreak began, hundreds even making the trip today. Madison Reedy was at Auckland Airport as one of the last flights landed.
Hundreds of Aussies flocking to freedom just hours before they're locked out. Travellers we spoke to are confident they're not connected to Sydney's growing Bondi cluster.
Whereabouts in Sydney do you live?
In Waterloo, so in inner Sydney, but not in Bondi.
Several brought flights forward to ensure they got here before the travel bubble burst.
We were a bit worried about that because over here for work, so we brought forward the flights just to make sure we were okay for that.
I was told by a client to get on the first plane this morning to avoid being shut out, so here I am.
Jacinda Ardern spoke with New South Wales health officials this afternoon. They're concerned resulting in us shutting the border from midnight tonight.
There is no doubt an increased level of concern given the additional number of cases.
That's because the highly contagious Delta variant is spreading quickly to household contacts.
Delta variant of the COVID virus is actually a gold medalist when it comes to jumping from one person to another.
But of greatest concern is a boy from this primary school. He's a mystery case that has no known links to the others.
If we suddenly get a number of unlinked cases and if we suddenly get them outside of the geographic region that they're kind of concentrated in, that will obviously adjust the health advice.
Anxious parents were told to pick up their kids and isolate.
We got to test the kids straight away.
When did you find out about it?
Just about 10 minutes ago.
Almost 7,000 people have landed in New Zealand since the Sydney outbreak began. 16 who could have crossed paths with a case are now self-isolating, as Sydney puts our travel bubble to the test once again. Madison Reedy, Newshub.